Yeah. So today we will have a look at Narada Bhakti Sutra. This is a text on Bhakti Yoga, one of the texts of Bhakti Yoga, foremost text and authoritative text in Bhakti Yoga. It's in the sutra format. Those of us familiar with Yoga Sutra, so you'll know it is 1 or 2 lines at the most. The longer one will run for 2 lines. A sutra is like a Tirukkural, very short composition. Similar fashion, this Bhakti, Narada Bhakti Sutra is also a composition which is attributed to Narada. Just like Vyasa, there Narada is throughout the Vedic mythology and in all the Puranas as different characters. And it's impossible to verify historical accuracy of any of most of, I should say, the Indian texts. So similar fashion. This is attributed to Narada. And today, the Narada Bhakti Sutra has 84 sutra in all. We are going to just look into sutra number 2. We'll see why that is important, why we have chosen this particular sutra to give an idea for everyone into what this text is about. And then if you want to, take up further study, what are you signing up for, to give a look into that. Thank you. So let me go to the slides. Yeah, so as we said, this Narada Bhakti Sutra is a bhakti literature, which is when compared with, there are various texts, the Puranas and Upanishads. So what sets this apart is that this is suitable for study by everyone. There are no qualifications required. A beginner to a completely advanced spiritual seeker can also study this and gain some knowledge. This sutras go into the detail of how bhakti, what is bhakti, how do you develop it, what are the ways you can practice, what is the result of bhakti, what kinds of bhakti are there in complete detail. Yeah. So as we said, it is attributed to Narada, and when it comes to Narada, there's various names and stories associated with him. The Bhagavata Purana is full of course, being Purana, stories of Narada. One of the stories I want to, one of the stories I want to talk about today is the history of Narada's childhood. This he tells in the shloka that you see, it's in from the Bhagavata, that he talks about having been born as the son of a maid servant. She works in this ashram or of a sort where all the Vedantin spiritual seekers come and stay during the rainy season of the 4 months of rainy and autumn season. And she works there as a maid servant. Narada being her son, he also does some work and he looks after the guests, and in this process he gets to listen to all their discourses and their discussions. And the people there, the Vedantins there, being impressed of such a young boy showing so much interest and aptitude, they also impart some knowledge to him. So that's where in this particular birth, this story, that Narada gets introduced to bhakti. And they teach him all the means of practice of bhakti, meditation, and everything along with it. And after the rainy season is over, the Vedantins, the people have left. They leave the ashram and Narada is alone again with his mother. His mind is attuned to spirituality, but he cannot take it up fully yet because the material life that he has to lead, in a sense, that he has to take care of his mother being the only son. He cannot leave her alone. So he continues in that life till one day the mother dies. She goes to milk a cow, and in that process gets bitten by a snake and she dies of snake poison. Narada takes this as a sign of him being freed from his obligations and now free to move on and seek spiritual progress. So he starts wandering, and he comes upon a forest, very serene place. He takes a bath in the river, sits down under a tree and starts meditating in the way that he was taught by his teachers. And in that process, he gets a vision of the Supreme, for him, Narayana. And that vision, of course, disappears, fades away. He tries and tries again, and he prays and prays and wishes that he can see that vision again. And then he hears the Supreme's voice saying, Narada, so in this birth, this one time vision is all you get, because you still have incomplete karmas. You have to finish this life, and in the next life you shall be my greatest devotee, and you shall get the vision. So Narada continues on with the rest of his life, wandering from place to place, spreading bhakti. Yeah, this story, according to Bhagavatam, is told by Narada himself. Please mute. Everyone, please make sure you are muted. So with that said, let's jump right into the sutra. Yeah, so this is intended to be just a short intro, so we won't go into too much of detail, but we'll discuss anything at the end of the session if you have any questions. So the second sutra is what we have chosen. Sa tvasmin parama prema rupa. A little bit about the sutra text. Sutra, as we said, is a short form of a literature. Suchanat iti sutra vidya. So a sutra is something that gives us only an indication. It does not go into the elaborate explanations. Yeah, it is meant to be short, very precise. Every word in a sutra is full of meaning. There are no space fillers and for aesthetic reason and such extra words that are just there as space fillers. Every word has belongs there for a specific reason. So for that purpose, for that reason, I have decided to go into word by word split and then looking at what the whole text means, whole sutra means. So, sa tvasmin parama prema rupa. When split, sa tu asmin parama prema rupa. This is the word split. Now, taking up the first word, sa, meaning that. What is that? So this, there you go. Yeah. So this that is that which is mentioned in the previous sutra. Typical of sutras, the first sutra tells you what you are embarking on. And the second sutra is defining the subject matter. So the first sutra says, Athato bhaktim vyakyasyamaha. Now we shall expound bhakti. So then subsequently, he has to explain what is this bhakti. We are going to study bhakti. What is this bhakti? So this refers to that. So there is a thread. Sutra is also a thread. So you can see the thread of the concept, the ideas through this word. Sa could also be meaning that bhakti is a common concept. Everybody might be knowing. People may be practicing in their own way, but the real nature and its implications, it may not be known to all clearly, and therefore a need for a detailed explanation. Everyone with me so far? Good. Okay, so next, moving on to the word tu. Tu meaning indeed or but. So what is Narada trying to indicate with this? The two, with this, he has said we'll have to look at Parama Prema Rupa and then come back to this, but I want to go in the order. The Parama Prema Rupa, he has said, so he has said it is of the nature of supreme love. So here he want to make sure to distinguish between what is just ordinary love and what is he doesn't say prema rupa, it is bhakti is love. He says parama, he has added that. So he wants to make sure that he is showing the distinction between ordinary love. We all use the word love, prema, in a very loose way, very liberally, loving a person, loving a thing. But that is not this. Yeah. Also to indicate, that this bhakti is, so everyone worships gods for various reasons. This particular god for wealth, this particular god for education, this particular god for health. So we do that. And also various forms and ideas. But bhakti in its real sense is beyond all of that. It is not limited to the ideas of gods or spirits for the sake of some return, expecting something in return, whether it is in this life or in the afterlife, attaining heaven or whatever. So that distinction also is being indicated here. Yeah. Yeah, so very similar, the para bhakti and apara bhakti. Yeah, the difference between this here is para bhakti. What is apara bhakti? Apara bhakti is where the person is still attached to a form and all the worships, archana, nivedana, and stuck at that part only. And the apara bhakti stage is where the bhakta might hate worshippers of another god or another religion, whereas para bhakti is beyond all of that. So the two indicates is there to make sure that there is a distinction between what is a lower and what is a higher and the real love. I'm going to just pause briefly in case it's too fast for anyone or you have any question. Then we'll move on to the next. Okay. Okay. So sa, tu, asmin. Asmin, we may be familiar with, it's a very commonly found Sanskrit word. Asmin is this, here. What is this? So you can see, sa tu asmin parama prema rupa. It is parama prema rupa, parama prema for asmin. And he's very careful to not mention parama prema for Rama, Krishna, or any, or even a general metaphysical word such as Brahman or Atma. He only says asmin. So that is to indicate that it's a non-sectarian. So that is with the Yoga Sutra, when we read, the idea of God, Ishvara in that also is completely secular. It doesn't give us a saguna idea of a God. Also, by not giving any for specific form or name, Narada has avoided limiting this idea of the supreme to a name or form, right? It is a limitless, beyond attributes, abstract supreme being. So that is also achieved when you avoid giving a specific name. Also, when you say asmin, it is not something outside. It is within each of us. It's the soul of the soul. It is antaryamin, the indweller. So if you see this, it's quite mind-blowing for me when you look at just this one small word, and there is so much of depth in this word. Okay, so almost done with the words. Now we come for the big word. Parama Prema Rupa. So it is Prema Rupa, but not the nature of Prema, but not any Prema, Parama Prema. Yeah. So going word by word. Here, bhakti is a concept that is difficult to explain, because it is talking about love for the supreme that is beyond attributes, and it is a transcendental experience that is beyond words. So how do you then convey this message? The classic example that we get is the mother showing the child the moon. The mother showing the child the moon. Yeah. So the child is not able to see, the moon is so far, and seeing from the earth, it is so small. So what does the mother do? She shows the tree first. Okay, can you see the tree? Okay, see this tree, see that big tree. And to the left of this tree, look up. Can you see the... So the tree is something the child can easily see. And from something known to showing something that's difficult to see immediately. So showing something through a known concept to an unknown concept. It's something similar to that. He says it's a form of imagined prema, but it's parama prema. Yeah. So the para bhakti, we've already said, it's a transcendental experience. The parama, the word is important here, because through it is that which ultimately defines this bhakti. It's not just love, it's parama. Parama is something higher, that's supreme. In Sanskrita, every word, the words have meanings. We know that naram paramatma vishekam dadati iti Narada. Narada, the name, there is a reason why he is called Narada. Parama is something that is beyond, superior. So therefore, the term parama, to distinguish from the common forms of love that we are familiar with. Yeah. And what is this parama prema? So this, of course, is not given in all the sutras. Like any sutra, we have to take the words and understand, take the indication and understand, think and understand the meaning through that. So this parama tells us, yeah, this bhakti is parama prema for God, is sadhya bhakti. It is goal oriented. What is my goal? My goal is to be with the supreme, the ultimate. It is not a sadhana bhakti, something that has that's done. It's a means to an end with the expectation of something in return. Yeah. So this parama prema is different from prema. So we have to keep going back to that. I know it sounds like repeating, but that is the concept, that from prema to parama prema, the distinction is important in this particular sutra. Also, what is the nature of this bhakti is that once the mind is tuned towards this parama prema, it is not wanting for anything. Yeah, it is not demanding for anything. And if you have studied Yoga Sutra, you've come across Kaivalya Pada. So very similar to that. Bhakti, remember, bhakti is also bhakti yoga. It's a moksha sadhana. The bhakta, ultimate aim is only to be one with the Bhagavan. But then beyond a certain point of evolution, bhakta is not even wanting for liberation. The active desire for liberation is also left behind. It is that which characterizes parama prema. That is what is bhakti. Yeah. Another distinction, again, if you've studied Yoga Sutra, you'll find this concept very similar. In ordinary love, there is the lover, there's a person who loves another being or a person, the beloved, and there is the bond of the love. Whereas in Parama Prema, the lover, the bhakta, is one with the Supreme. So there is no, there is merging of all the aspects here. There is no difference between the lover and the beloved. There is a very nice, the Parama Prema, yeah? I believe it's Yamunacharya's definition. He says, vision is parabhakti. Union is parajnana. Anxiety to maintain that union, that is parama bhakti. So the bhakta's only goal is to maintain, once you are united with the Bhagavan, you feel oneness with the Bhagavan. The only goal is to maintain that. Yeah. So just summarizing in very short, what are the characteristics of bhakti? What does it mean when you say bhakti? Bhakti is something that is not based on any selfishness or egoism. It does not, it is untainted with any motives, whether it is iha or para, in the material life here or in the afterlife. For example, a mother's love for the child. All of us consider that as a superior, most pure form of love. But can we really say that even that is without any selfishness? A mother loves a child because I love my child because he or she is my child. Yeah. And when I say I am proud of my child, there is some sense of that me, mine as a part of me. We see the children also, the mother sees the children as an extension of herself and is proud because they belong to me. The me and mine still exists. Whereas in bhakti, that cannot be there. If it is there, the selfishness is there, then that is not bhakti. Simply, let's put it like that. There is no other, not otherworldly. I think I should put a comma. So, not otherworldly. There is no other worldly love in the mind of a devotee. So, the devotee is completely detached from all the worldly love. There is a constant flow of love toward the Lord, and there is no space in that for any worldly love and attachments. That is a characteristic of parama prema. Again, yeah. And this is what we talked about, where there is complete self-forgetfulness on the part of the lover. There is no, the lover and the beloved and the bond, there is no such thing. It is all one. For the bhakta, he is one with the Bhagavan. There is a nice shloka that when Rama asks how he sees him, Hanuman, there is a shloka, Hanuman tells him that Deha Buddhya, Tva daso aham. When I think of myself as this Deha, as this embodied being, then I am your servant, which he is. We know that Hanuman is ultimate servant of Bhagavan. Jiva Buddhya Twadamshakaha. So when I think of myself as a jiva, as an individual soul, then I am a part of you. Yeah. Atma Buddhya. When I think of myself as that I am the Atman, then I am one with you. Iti me nishchita matihi, meaning this is my firm conviction. Yeah. So I'm just going to again pause here. The 3 points are just to sort of summarize and make sure the main characteristics of bhakti we are clear with. Yeah. Are we good so far? I think that's the, yes, end of the sutra. Any questions? This was meant to be, if anyone is surprised, please don't be. This was, we did mean it to be a short one. Going into the entirety of the sutra text is going to take us a few sessions. Yeah, but this sutra that defines the bhakti is an important one. I'm going to leave the floor open for any questions, comments. The difference between para bhakti and apara bhakti is clear. Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I ask one question?
Sure.
My name is Jyoti. My question is, in this full Narada Bhakti Sutra, only explain what is bhakti, how we should do that. But what is the meaning of real God? So how we will get that? Because without understanding who is God, how I can do bhakti? Sat asmin parama prema rupa means here the one who is indescribable or who is within me, but I don't know actually who is that. So how can I do that bhakti?
Ah, yeah. Okay, you're done. Okay, so this is what so I'm answering to the best of my knowledge. Yeah, this is what comes up for me with your question. That I think one, it is a question of a seeker. One qualification to understand bhakti is that you have to be a seeker. Yeah, you have to want to know it. And yes, your question is very valid, which is something that I can very much relate to. That what is Bhagavan? Where do I direct my bhakti? How do I understand? So that's why the para bhakti and apara bhakti, or the saguna nirguna bhakti, the journey of a bhakta. So if I directly tell you today, okay, close your eyes, you're the Atman, that might be as a beginner for me and you. Yeah. It's an abstract concept. So we do have to go through, unless somebody by birth is quite, you at an elevated position, we do have to go through a process of understanding, connecting with a form. By all means, connect with a form that, so there is, the wisdom tells us that either you, through a guru, there are two ways that Yoga Vasishta tells us. There are two ways that one can attain jnana, through by following a guru's advice, and by jnana, that you seek within what is right and what you can relate to, what you connect to. So one is, yes, you find a guru and take their guidance to understand. Two, you can seek within, and there is nothing wrong in having a connecting to a form or an idea, a saguna bhakti. You start from there, and the only way out is through. From there, through that process, we have to progress. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
So for me
So can I
personally,
relate this one thing that if I'm seeing God or that personality in human being, right? And if I do in that way bhakti, like as a selfish, without selfishness, or with whole surrender, so is it called as bhakti?
sorry, 1 second, Jyoti, give me just 1 second. I want to stop the recording first. Then we can continue with the